For months, many of you at home have been commenting, Danny, you're wrong. The market's crashing. This is the end of the world. The housing market as we know it is collapsing. Well, there is nothing more fun and satisfying than getting to say, I told you so. So I guess you can consider this video my version of saying, I told you so. It is no front page news. The market is absolutely correcting, but there is a huge difference between Bay Area housing market correction and Bay Area housing market crash. And so in this video, we're going to go over all the data to show you that August has been an incredible turnaround for practically every county here in the Bay Area. But before we go into the data, before we get into the numbers, if you're a home buyer in today's marketplace and you're looking for a comprehensive data set to assist you in your home buying decision making, you can text the word data plus the zip code, the neighborhood, or the area that you're looking in, and we'll get a data set sent straight to your inbox. And if you're a home seller in today's marketplace and you're trying to figure out, is now the right time for me to sell my home? And if it is, what should I price my property for? What should I expect? All of that information will be sent to you when you text the word data plus your property address to the number down below. This has been a very weird last couple of months for the Bay Area housing market. Now, if you've been paying attention and you've been around for a long time, you'll know that this housing market is behaving very similar to the 2018 housing market, where we had this ridiculous surge at the beginning of the year, and then things started to really level off by the middle of the year, summertime, and then we started to see a bit of a correction in the summer, heading into the fall, and basically lasting throughout the entirety of 2019. Well, I expect things are going to be fairly similar here over the next 12 to 18 months in the Bay Area housing market, where we're going to see a trend of ebb and flow and ebb and flow. And this is the first sign of that flow state. So we've ebbed a little bit, we've regressed a little bit here, and now we're coming back just ever so slightly, but it should absolutely be reassuring to those of you who have equity in properties right now to know that you're not losing every single penny that you've ever made on that property. Things are turning back around. The August numbers are in, and honestly, they look way better than I could have ever imagined. And so for you buyers out there that are sitting on the sidelines waiting for your opportunity to strike, honestly, it may have already passed, and we're seeing that right now. And you'll see what I'm saying now in a second. Starting with Santa Clara County, where we had 1,321 homes for sale and 1,187 homes pending. You look at that sharp incline in pending activity. We had nearly over 200 homes difference between July and August. So a massive surge in demand from July to August. Now, looking at last year's data from July to August, we did see an increase in pending activity. So that's corollary. That's in line with what we're seeing seasonally here. And we did see a decrease in for sale inventory. So we saw 1,200 homes for sale versus 1095, so 130, 140 home inventory decrease. So we're seeing a much sharper decrease from July to August here in 2022, and a much sharper increase in pending activity from July to August here in 2022 as well. When you look at the delta between inventory levels and pending levels over the last 2 months, so June, July, that drastic delta in pending versus active inventory, when you compare that to June, July of last year, you'll see it's practically the reverse, where pendings were far outpacing supply. And this year, things were way different, where sellers were seeing homes sit on the market for a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, even more than 8 weeks. Well, the closer those two lines get together, the more normalized the market becomes. And so what you're seeing right now is a normalization, a stabilization in the marketplace here in Santa Clara County. So why is this happening? Well, first of all, let's just look at things objectively here. Reaction time lags a little bit in any sort of market. And so what you saw in June and July was reactionary behavior to the fact that people were seeing the incredible prices that were being posted in April. And sellers are thinking, oh my gosh, like now is the time for me to sell. Then the news of the slowing market in May, June, because of the interest rates, people feeling, oh my gosh, I missed the boat. We see a huge surge in inventory. This happens all the time, by the way. In a market where inventory is suppressed after a certain period of time, sellers come off the fence because they're like, oh my gosh, like I got to capitalize on these prices. But guess what? Normally when sellers react en masse like that, it's too late. And guess what? It happened again this time in 2022. This won't be the last time this happens. History tends to repeat itself. But now we're seeing a trend where pendings may once surpass inventory levels. Now, will that happen next month in September? Probably not. The preliminary data shows that inventory levels have dropped, but so have pending levels. They have also dropped month to date, month over month. We're seeing a 12% drop in active inventory and a 17% drop in pending activity. So fairly similar drops. And what that means is a couple of things. Number one, sellers are pulling back. A lot of people here do not need to sell. They would like to sell. They would like to move to that next home. They'd like to move out of state. They'd like to move on with their lives. But the truth is that they're not going to sell their home for a discount. And they certainly don't need to sell. And because of that, we're starting to see a regression in inventory levels. You couple that with the news that came out in August where mortgage rates actually dropped consecutively over several weeks. And so with all of that momentum on the pendings, on the buy side of things, we're seeing an increase in demand and a decrease in inventory levels. And that is reflected right here in the data. Plus, you got smart guys like me telling people how it really is instead of the media telling you and scaring you out of making a home purchase. I can personally tell you that I've spoken to well over a dozen Silicon Valley Snapshot viewers who have told me over the phone, Danny, thank you. Thank you for making these videos because you're the reason that I decided to buy, that I realized that now was a good time to buy my home. And not all of you guys bought with us here at Selling Silicon Valley, but just know that if you're looking for the best agents in the country when it comes to negotiation and understanding the data, there is no better option than me and my team. I've got over 20 agents now across the Bay Area working with me to help you find your dream home. So whether you are in Santa Cruz County, whether you are in San Benito County, Santa Clara County, San Mateo County, whether you're in San Francisco County, Marin, Alameda, Contra, Costa, Stanislaus, San Joaquin, we've got you covered. All right, so let's flip over to San Mateo County because what we're seeing in San Mateo County is a less exaggerated version of what we saw in Santa Clara County. I mean, just let's go back to Santa Clara County real quick and let's look at how drastically that delta decreased month over month. We went from basically a 56% absorption rate in July to like a 90% absorption rate in August. That is a massive swing, massive swing. So we're seeing a less exaggerated version of that in San Mateo County. In San Mateo County, we saw 615 homes active on the market and 435 homes pending. When you look at what's happening from month over month, from July to August, an increase in pending activity from 350 to 435, a pretty decent upswing, and a little drop off in active inventory. So not nearly the kind of exaggerated stats or exaggerated numbers that we're seeing in Santa Clara County, but still definitely a trending in the right direction. And just to quantify that for you, for all you fellow nerds out there, that is from a 52% absorption rate up to a 70% absorption rate. So that's nearly a 20-point swing in the right direction. Good news for you home sellers out there in San Mateo County. All right, let's flip over to Santa Cruz County. In Santa Cruz County, very similar to what we're seeing in San Mateo County, where there is a merging so that these two lines are coming together. We're seeing a movement in a positive direction for the housing market, where we're seeing a slight increase in pending activity, 186 homes pending in Santa Cruz County versus 171 in July, and 292 homes active on the market versus 311 in July. So we're seeing these two lines, the delta decrease here in Santa Cruz County. And one thing I really want to stress here is San Mateo County, Santa Cruz County, Santa Clara County, all of these three, we're seeing actives and pendings come closer and closer together. That means that the market is shifting in a positive direction for equity, for home sellers, etc. So this does not happen when the market is in a free fall. This simply does not happen when the market is fully crashing. We see things get worse and worse and worse month over month over month. 2 months does not make a crashing market. So this is absolutely, though, a correcting market, and that is the difference. Could we see these lines separate back again? Absolutely. That is called ebb and flow. And that is exactly what an adjusting market looks like in real time. The data shows us in real time, hey, we're ebbing, we're flowing, we're ebbing, we're flowing, we're ebbing and flowing, and so on and so forth. So expect this trend to continue where we see these lines get bigger, the delta get bigger, delta get smaller, delta get bigger, delta get smaller. This is reactionary behavior, both on the seller side of things. The seller saying, oh my gosh, I need to sell. Oh my gosh, I don't need to sell. I need to sell. I don't need to sell. Market's hot. Market's not hot. Market's hot. Market's not hot. we're seeing it in real time now, versus buyers, oh, I'm going to wait. No, I should get in the market. Oh, I should wait. I should get in the market. This is very reactionary behavior. And the data is indicative of that. Now, the one outlier here is San Francisco. So flipping on over to San Francisco, we are seeing a trend in a not so great direction if you are a home seller in San Francisco. We are seeing inventory levels drop. So that's a good thing. We're seeing 999 homes in July versus 853 homes active on the market versus pending activity. We're seeing a stabilization in pending activity now in August. 340 homes went pending in July versus 329 homes here in August. So that's the good news. The not so good news is inventory levels are creeping back up again in San Francisco month to date, month over month. We're seeing 25% more inventory month to date, month over month. So inventory levels are going to jet back up here in September, and pending activity is down ever so slightly month to date, month over month, 7% down. When you compare that to last year, pending activity went up from August to September. Now it's looking like we're going to trend down. And while August to September is generally a month where we see inventory levels jet up, so that is consistent, what is inconsistent year over year is the fact that pending activity is down instead of going up month over month. San Francisco home buyers, I cannot stress this enough. I don't know how much longer this opportunity is going to last. Like, honestly, the market's been in flux for so long now. And honestly, we are getting blown up every single day with San Francisco home buyers specifically who see the opportunity in the marketplace right now. In fact, we've received several calls over this last week from home buyers saying like, Danny, now is the time. Like, we need to buy in San Francisco. So a lot of buyers are recognizing the opportunity. So the window of opportunity is becoming less and less. The good news is that we've got a lot of great data and stats on where the best opportunities are in San Francisco. So again, text us at the number down below for information and on where the best opportunities are, not just in San Francisco, but all over the Bay Area. Okay, let's flip over to Contra Costa County. In Contra Costa County, we're seeing something very similar to what we saw in San Mateo County. So not nearly the exaggerated numbers that we saw in Santa Clara County. We're going to see here at the end that Santa Clara County definitely outperformed the rest. But Contra Costa County, we're seeing a merging of those two lines. 1,445 homes active on the market this last month versus 1,011 homes pending. So we're seeing the delta between actives and pending come closer and closer and closer. That is phenomenal news, especially if you are a home seller in Contra Costa County. So market is stabilizing in real time and adjusting in real time. Again, another prime example of that here in the East Bay. Now flipping over to Alameda County, same thing. 1,398 homes active on the market versus 1,000 homes pending, 1,015 homes pending. We're seeing an increase in pending activity from July to August. Good thing if you're a home seller, and a fairly sizable decrease in inventory levels as well as in Alameda. So we're seeing very similar market conditions in practically every single county minus San Francisco. And that should be great news if you're a home seller right now in the Bay Area. In summary, my thoughts are as such. Number one, if you're a home buyer in the Bay Area right now and you're still waiting on the sidelines, you're missing the boat entirely. Like, the ship is starting to sail. And if you don't jump on the opportunities now, this adjustment in the market should tell you, oh my gosh, like, my window of opportunity is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It hasn't gone quite just yet. I think that there's still at least a few more solid months through the end of the year for you to get into a great home with a great price and then refinance into a great rate later on down the line. In a year, 2 years, 3 years, there's going to be an opportunity to refinance into a better rate here in the near future. And so don't allow the rates to be the limiting reactant here, because the truth is that refinancing into a lower rate is practically inevitable at this point. There will be a relief at some point in the near future. And if you're a home seller, a couple of thoughts for you. Number one, if you're moving up and you're selling a condo or a townhome or a smaller home and upsizing, now is a great time to make that move, make that lateral move for a lot of reasons. And you can call me if you'd like to discuss and kind of go into that further. But if you're moving up, now is the right time to do that. This kind of market is prime, is ripe for that kind of movement. And the longer you wait, the larger the delta is going to get between the home that you sell and the home that you buy. Now, if you are downsizing, you're moving out of the area, or you don't necessarily have a next step planned, now may not be the best time. Honestly, you're looking at this data right now and it's like, I don't know, So just keep that in mind. And by the way, like I like to be as transparent as I possibly can. It's not the best time for everyone to sell. Now, I'm helping home sellers every single week. We have many, many listings on the market right now, and that's because they need to do it. They want to do it, and they understand the market conditions. So as long as you understand the market conditions and that this is going to turn, but it's not going to turn right away. And so the caveat being, if you can wait another solid 24 to 36 months at minimum, then wait. But if you know you're going to sell, if you're going to have to sell in the next 2 to 3 years, it's probably the best time to do that, because we don't know how things are going to shape up over the next 2-ish years or so. And so just some food for thought there. And, for all of us who are sitting back at home and thinking, my gosh, I was wrong, because you were. The market's not crashing. And the data is very, very clear. There is no crash happening, at least not right now. And so anyone who thought that the perfect storm of all of those things, the recession and the stock market crashing, and oh my gosh, we've got interest rates going up and all that stuff. Well, guess what? This market has proven to be incredibly, incredibly resilient. And so it just goes to show you that the Bay Area housing market is strong, and it is here to stay. This is Danny Gould, everyone. I'm selling Silicon Valley, and I will catch all of you in the next Silicon Valley Snapshot.